Welcome to part 7 of AI Truth and Consequences for Education. This session is about teaching students to separate information from truth. That distinction matters more than ever because artificial intelligence can make information easy to produce, easy to summarize, easy to share, and easy to believe. But fluency is not truth. Confidence is not evidence. Output is not verification. Our responsibility as educators is to help learners evaluate sources, verify evidence, question outputs, and recognize misinformation. This is not a side lesson. It is a core academic and workforce skill. The truth is that information is abundant, but discernment is scarce. Pew Research Center reported in February 2026 that 57% of U.S. teens say they have used AI chatbots to search for information. 54% have used them to get help with schoolwork, and about 1 in 5 say they use chatbots to get news. These numbers tell us something important. Students are not waiting for permission to use AI. They are already using it to search, summarize, complete schoolwork, and make sense of the world. That means the educational question is not only did the student find information, the deeper question is did the student verify it? The consequence is that plausibility can become authority. When a tool sounds confident, students can mistake polish for proof. Fast answers can weaken verification because students may move from question to conclusion without pausing to check accuracy. False information can travel with Polish because AI can make weak claims sound organized, neutral, and credible. Source trails can disappear because students may cite, share, or repeat claims without knowing where the evidence came from. And confidence can replace humility because learners can sound certain before they have earned confidence. In an AI world, academic integrity must include epistemic integrity. That means we have to care not only whether work is original, but how students know what they claim to know. The leadership responsibility is to make verification a learning outcome. This cannot be implied. Students need explicit practice with source evaluation, evidence checking, and responsible uncertainty. Before AI, many assignments focused on finding information, summarizing content, and submitting an answer. With AI, students also need to question the output, trace the source, and test the evidence. Responsible learning requires them to explain confidence, name uncertainty, and show verification. The new standard is simple. Do not just show me the answer, show me how you know. That one sentence changes the assignment. It shifts the focus from output to evidence, from completion to reasoning, and from confidence to accountability. One practical framework is P.R.O.V.E. The P stands for pause. Students should not accept the first fluent answer. They should slow down before believing or sharing. R stands for read laterally. Instead of staying inside one page, one video, or one AI response, students should leave the source and check what credible external sources say. O stands for observe the source. They should identify the author, organization, purpose, funding, date, and missing context. V stands for verify evidence. They should trace claims to primary evidence or multiple credible confirmations. E stands for explain limits. They should state what is known, what is uncertain, and what could change the conclusion. The research on lateral reading matters here because professional fact checkers do not simply read a source vertically from top to bottom. They leave the page quickly to understand who is behind the information, what the evidence is, and what other sources say. Verification is not a single click. It is a disciplined habit of mind. In classroom practice, we make truth work visible. We do not want students to perform verification silently or after the fact. We want them to document how they check the information. One tool is an evidence log, where students list every major claim, source, and type of evidence used. Another is an AI output audit, where students ask AI for an answer and then identify what is accurate, weak, missing, or unsupported. A lateral reading check asks them to use outside sources to verify who is behind the information. Claim evidence reasoning requires them to separate what is claimed from what is proven and how the reasoning connects. A revision memo asks students to explain what changed after verification and why the final answer improved. When students document verification, educators can assess judgment instead of guessing about process. Students need questions they can remember. Here are 5. First, who is behind this information? That means author, institution, credentials, incentives, or agenda. Second, what is the evidence? That means data, source documents, method, examples, or expert support. Third, what do other credible sources say? That means agreement, disagreement, missing context, or correction. Fourth, what might be missing? That includes voices, dates, definitions, limitations, or competing explanations. Fifth, what would make me revise my conclusion? That is a powerful question because it teaches intellectual humility. The strongest learners are not the most certain, they are the most responsible with uncertainty. The closing thought is this: the future ready learner does not only know how to find information, they know how to decide what deserves belief. That is the heart of this session. Students will live and work in environments where AI can generate information at scale, where misinformation can appear professional, and where the first answer may feel like the final answer. Education has to do more than warn students. We have to teach them a process. We have to help them pause, read laterally, observe the source, verify the evidence, and explain the limits of what they know. The question is no longer whether students can access information. The question is whether education will teach them how to verify, challenge, and use it responsibly.